that last erase ourselves in these chalk outlines. But is that what she says?
Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Is there a hidden meaning here? I just got my toddler to bed. The business I run has been crazy lately, and I leave in a few days to go to Vegas to meet my oldest daughter, Katie, who's 27, for a Tyler, the Creator concert, which I'm really looking forward to. And while we're there, we're going to do together the Ginny and Screech trilogy. Also, I think the Money Game trilogy. I think that's what it's called. I know a lot of people have recommended those two trilogies, so we're going to try to get both of those done while we're there in Vegas. Right now, though, I want to jump into Chalk Outlines by Ren and Chinchilla. But I want to try something new. Instead of stopping all the time through the song, assuming it follows some sort of song structure, verse, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, whatever it does, what I would like to do is listen to a verse without breaking, just because I prefer to take it in that way, and then go back, play through it again, stopping and talking about things. So we'll see how that goes with this video. Maybe it's something I'll continue, maybe not. We'll see. Let's jump into this Chalk Outlines. Cinder block walls, looks like a basement of some sort, a bunch of files, old books. Some interesting. All right, he likes to play with the lights. We already know that the lights mean something to him, so. Looks like we're one-shotting the video again. Electric guitar this time.
I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning.
Wow.
So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. Then walk around in the floating chalk outline. So it goes.
Got a really nice tone.
In the gallows, balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines.
We trace ourselves.
Oh my, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Sertraline and a sip of serotonin.
That's nice.
Don't cry, 'cause there's a pill for everything.
That can mean a few things.
Take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine.
Well, Wow, those nails are wild.
Feeling goes and you draw a chalk outline.
So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit.
Okay, I don't want to get too far into that just yet, or I'll get lost in this song and just keep going. Let's back that up. There's some interesting things here. I want to know more about this chair. Why do we spend so much time looking at the chair? I appreciate that the sound that it gives us. Like it gives us a sound that lets us know that it's a live recording. At least that's how it sounds. We get that reverb from the room in this moment that snaps open. And how I'm reading that snaps open right now is Ren is walking through, he's looking at things, the lights flicker, and he's caught off guard for a second, but then he walks with a little more purpose. And it looks like he's looking for something. It doesn't look like he's surprised by what he finds necessarily. It looks like he is looking for something. And then that snap, he's becoming who he is. That's how I read that. Let's see what else we see here. There's a little crack in his voice pretty early here that I think is really brilliant that they left in. And I can't imagine that this lapel mic is the only mic they're getting audio with. If so, that's wild.
I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in.
I think the little break in his voice is right here.
I hope that I'm someone else in the morning.
It must be in an upcoming line.
So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine.
Right there.
Then walk around in the floating chalk outline.
I love the decay he puts on his voice. It just fades away really nicely into nothing.
I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning.
That's an interesting thing by itself. Number one, he looks like he's working through something as he's doing it. Like he stops that note, what feels a little prematurely, and he's still working into becoming him. This snap that happened, now he's working into it with the guitar. That's how I'm reading it anyway. But I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning. And the truth is, I think we are. We're someone new every day. So maybe what he's saying is, I don't want to be the same person that being in this place, whatever it is, his outfit makes me think hospital of some sort. And we know that's a theme for Ren and his life, that they're keeping him in a state of being the same person every day. And he hopes that he's someone else in the morning.
So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. Then walk around in the floating chalk outline.
Obviously, chalk outlines are usually around dead bodies. But the interesting thing about a chalk outline is we don't often see it with the body there. We see it with no body. We see it with nothing in it. It's just a chalk outline. So is he feeling like he's disappeared? And that's why this chalk outline is there?
So it goes, let it be.
So it goes, let it be.
Gallows,
Don't fight it.
balanced on my toes so I can breathe.
That's beautiful. They're telling him, don't fight it. So it goes, let it be. Just go with it. They've got him in the gallows. They've got the noose on his neck. But he's not willing to just let it be. He's standing on his toes, trying to save his life. And I love his posture here and the way he comes up with his voice, because it makes you want to do this, standing on your toes so you can breathe.
But little by little, bit
This is
by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh.
This I'll push it down with a new habit. Little by little, bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. Could be taken several ways. And the way I feel it at first is that he's saying, I get this hope. I get this hopefulness. I'm trying to survive. I'm on my tiptoes. And then they keep feeding me things. And that gets pushed down with whatever habit they're giving me next. And this, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. It becomes a habit. Whatever this thing they're giving him becomes a habit that he wants now. And he's going to be happy even though it's killing him.
Oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, erase our.
I saw this shadow the first time as the lights were blinking, and as Chinchilla comes in, you can see a shadow go across him. But it looks like it's going the opposite way. I'm sure it's just a shadow of a camera person or a lights person or something moving out of the way so Chinchilla can come through. But it did make me pay attention. And the lights flickering right before Chinchilla is coming in is really interesting. We know from Ren that he was using the lights to delineate between the two sides of himself. So is Chinchilla actually there? Is she a person? Is she a coping mechanism? Is she his subconscious? What is she? Maybe we'll know that later in the song. But he says we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. To me, what that's saying is they're trying to make me disappear. I'm tracing myself in this chalk outline to remember who I am, who I was.
In these chalk outlines.
Sertraline and a sip of serotonin.
Control the mood, antidepressant.
Don't cry, 'cause there's a pill for everything.
That's amazing. Don't cry because there's a pill for everything. That could be saying, don't cry because whatever it is that's the problem, we have a pill for that. But it also could be saying, don't cry because we're going to give you a pill for the crying. Whatever your reaction, we have a pill for that.
Take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine.
Always the answer. Take this, wash it down.
The feeling goes and you draw a chalk outline.
So it goes.
when we first see her, she's like crouched in the corner. She's in the corners of his mind, maybe. Maybe this basement represents his mind. Maybe those files were things he's pushed away and are locked down there. And that's how he knew. That's how he was looking for the guitar. He knew the chair was there. It's how this is the place he goes to keep himself from entirely disappearing within his chalk outline. But she's down in that corner. And then as the song lifts, as it starts to come up, she comes up with Ren. This is about where we left off.
In the gallows, I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my, erase ourselves. Such a perfect day, take it just in case, take it just in case.
Take it just in
Could have
case.
been okay, 'cause all things change, all things change.
Wow.
It's such a perfect day, it's a beautiful shade, it's a beautiful shade. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all
She's way up here in her head with her voice.
but little by little,
Beautiful.
bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my.
Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Wait, I need to hear that last little bit again. That's interesting.
Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Is there a hidden meaning here? Let's go back.
I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit.
They're coming together for this part.
Just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my.
The emotion that both of them sing with, perform with, is really beautiful. Because I've listened to hip hop for basically my whole life, for 40 years, I'm very tuned into lyrics most of the time. But when there is a great emotional performance, I can find myself getting lost in that and missing some of the lyrics. So generally speaking, what I prefer is an emotional performance that asks me to come back to it so that I can pay more attention to the lyrics. And I think that's exactly what they're doing right here. They both make me believe what they're saying, what they're singing. That's not easy to do. And it doesn't get done all that often.
Oh, mama, erase ourselves. Such a perfect day, take it just in case, take it just in case.
Everything's fine, it's a perfect day, but take it in case.
Okay, 'cause all things change, all things change.
I'm scared of being okay because all things change. I think that's probably more common than most of us understand, especially when you're in a situation where people are constantly trying to fix you and getting it wrong a lot of the time. Being okay might be its own problem. That might not be the status quo that they are looking for. That's why that chalk outline is there, so that you remember who you are.
It's such a perfect day, it's a beautiful shade.
This harmony with her way up here is amazing.
I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change. But little by little, bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my.
I like how these verses are going. That they go up, and then on new habit, they come back down. And then I'll bury myself with a great big smile. They come back down. They come right back down at the end. This up and down of what it must feel like to be in this situation where people are constantly feeding you drugs, trying to balance you out, as if any of us are actually balanced to begin with.
We trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my,
Yeah, that's amazing. She can go so big. That last erase ourselves in these chalk outlines. But is that what she says? It sounds like a slant homophone. If this is a device used in rap all the time by lyricists, saying a word that sounds, and saying it in a way that it sounds like another word with another meaning. I know that earlier in the song it was erase ourselves in these chalk outlines, but the way she slants it is we raise ourselves in these chalk outlines. Now, I don't know if that's purposeful or not, but it does give a whole new meaning to the end of this song. My read on it is that they've drawn chalk outlines, or he has drawn a chalk outline around himself, and I'm seeing Chinchilla as his coping mechanism, his North Star, the way that he's finding himself. You know, she's part of his center. And by her saying, we raise ourselves in these chalk outlines, that's saying, I know you've disappeared. I know they've disappeared you. But you've drawn this chalk outline. You can raise yourself there. That's you. That's where you belong. This is who you are. Sorry for the break. But when I started editing this video, I realized there was more I wanted to say. And that was prompted by, in the very beginning, as Ren is walking down the hallway, I'm about to say something about this eerie sort of droning sound that's playing. And that's when the lights flicker, and it cut me off, and it cut my thought process off. And it went in a different direction, which I think it went in a good direction. But that little eerie sound in the beginning, combined with what Chinchilla says at the very end, which could be a slant homophone for we raise ourselves in these chalk outlines, led me to look at the whole thing a little differently. Now, I also focused on the chair in the beginning, and I think that chair is a key in this interpretation. So let's start from the beginning here. Ren is walking down this hallway. He's looking at these old files. I think this is his mind. I think these files are things that he's pushed away, filed away, and he's remembering them as he's walking through. But we hear this droning, eerie, sort of anxious sound. I think that's because he's in this drugged up, droning sort of state that he's put in by all this medication. Then the lights flicker and the sound disappears. I think that's our first clue that Ren is finding himself, that this is the place he goes. This corner of his mind, this room in his mind, is the place he goes to find the real him. And I think that's further evidenced by the fact that he doesn't seem to stumble upon the guitar. He rounds the corner as if he's looking for something. He sees it, and then he gets up to the chair. Now the chair, I focused on the sound of the chair, but then I started going a little deeper. First I thought cherub. Is there a connection to angels or to youth-like or childlike, which is the root of the word cherub? And I wasn't quite satisfied with that, so I went a little deeper. And it turns out there is a phobia called cherophobia, which actually is the fear of happiness, or an aversion to happiness, because you believe there are negative consequences to being happy. And later in the song, Ren says, I'm scared of being okay because all things change. That's cherophobia. That's the fear of being happy. So I think there's a reason that the camera lingers on that chair, and that he makes a point of opening the chair up and snapping it the way that he does. That's him snapping out of his cherophobia. For right now, he's going to be happy. He's going to be himself. He's going to find himself or raise himself in that chalk outline. In the beginning, when he starts playing and singing, he looks like he's sort of finding his way still. He's still finding himself. He's waking up as a new person, which is what he tells us in his lyrics. And then as the lights flicker, there's that shadow that comes across him that I wasn't sure about, that I tried to understand in the time being. And I said, maybe it's just a camera or a mic person moving out of the way. And that could be. But it's a fairly obvious shadow. And it's very obviously moving away from where Chinchilla comes in. So I think that's the final vestige, the final pieces of this haziness, this droning state that he's in, leaving as Chinchilla, who is his center, his North Star, his coping mechanism, his way to find himself, enters the picture. And the lights flicker again as she enters the picture. She's crouched there in the corners of his mind. And they come together much more powerful. As the song builds, she rises and is face to face with him, and they become more powerful as one unit. And I think that's him finding his center, finding himself inside this chalk outline that he's already drawn. And then when Chinchilla finishes and she slants that final phrase, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines, or we raise ourselves in these chalk outlines, it's her final reminder to Ren, to herself or himself, that this is the place that he can return to find himself, to be himself again. Because because there is going to be more of this cycle of medication and drugs and bad diagnosis that leaves him feeling like he's fading away, like he's disappearing. He's in this anxious, droning state where there's a level of normal that someone else is dictating. But that's not him, and he has to return to this chalk outline to find himself. I think maybe this is a more hopeful interpretation of it than just we're killing ourselves, which I think could be the really straightforward, almost literal interpretation of what a chalk outline is. And I know I could be reaching here, but I think this is what great art does. It asks the viewer or the listener or the reader or whatever to come back and examine it closer. And if someone is going to put this level of thought into their art, which Ren and Chinchilla are clearly doing here, put this level of emotion into their art, then the least I can do is reciprocate with a similar level of thought. This is a really beautiful, brilliant piece of work. And I suspect that when I get to Vegas with my daughter and we get into these trilogies, judging by the comments I've seen on the Hi Ren video, I suspect it's going to be something similar, something that needs a lot of thought and wants to be looked at deeper. So I'm curious to know from you, what if we did something a little different than the normal reaction? And you see the first reaction to the pieces. We record the first reaction, the first listen, our initial take. But then I go back in, I look a little deeper, and I include that in the video, this deeper breakdown. Rather than miss something or stumble through on my first attempt to find what it is I'm trying to say, as I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll get more. So let me know in the comments what you think about potentially looking at Ren's work that way. This isn't going to be for every song. If it's a fun, lighthearted, happy song that doesn't go really deep, which has its place and can be a really beautiful thing, then fine, we can do it in one take. But if it's something with layers like this, maybe we go deeper. Let me know. All right. I'll see you guys soon.